All right, so good morning or good afternoon, guys. Today what we're doing is we're going to be factoring special cases using the calculator right here. Okay, so if y'all look over here, um, there's a few special cases that we're going to look at. There's three in particular. The first one is, if you look over here, is what if there's not a middle term? Okay, so most of the polynomials we've been looking at, they've been trinomials, right? They have an x squared, an x, and then a constant. But if we look here at example one, x squared minus 49, I'm missing that middle term, right? I'm missing the middle value with the x in it, with just the x, right? No x squared or constant, okay? So what we would do is we would rewrite the polynomial with the term. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So let me start off with this. So we would rewrite this. And again, like for those in my class, y'all know my writing isn't the best on here. So let me try it. So we would rewrite this as x squared. And then instead of the missing term, I'm going to say plus 0x, okay? And then minus 49, okay? So now it looks like a normal polynomial that we've been working with, right? It has three terms, right? X squared plus 0x minus 49, okay? Now what we do is, remember, we do the x, okay? So just like that. At the top of my x, remember a times c, so 1 times negative 49, that's negative 49. And then at the bottom of my x, my b value, so in this case, 0, okay? Now, what we do, remember, is we make two equations. So my first equation, I'll put it right here, so I have y1 equals, remember, we take our a times c, so it's ever on the top of the x, and divided by x. So negative 49 over x, okay? Then my second equation, so my y2, we do the same thing. So negative 49 over x, but this time we say plus x at the end, okay? So those are my two equations. So now we go to the calculator right over here. I'm gonna type in, go to my y equals where we type in the equations. Ooh, can I leave both on there? Okay, we'll just type in the equations for now. So my first equation, let's type in, remember, alpha y equals, get my fraction bar. So I get negative 49 over x. Scroll down, type the same thing. So negative 49. Forgot to get that. So alpha y equals, now negative 49 over x, scroll over, plus x, okay? So then we look to our table. So I go here, okay, and I'm looking for my b value, okay? Oh, there, I can't get both. So my b value is 0, okay? So I'm looking for this 0 in the third column. So if I slide to the third column of my calculator, I'm looking for 0. So I scroll down, there it is, okay? And then the two numbers I'm gonna put on the side of my x are gonna be the two in front. So 7 and negative 7. So I go back to my paper, there it is. I'm gonna put 7 and negative 7, okay? So that means my two factors, I'm gonna write them over here, are x plus 7 and x minus 7. Okay, that's it. Pretty easy. Oh, that's a bad box. Okay, so that's what you do if there's not a middle term. Okay, we're gonna skip the second example and we'll go straight to the first example of the second type. Okay, so this one says, what if there is a leading coefficient but no middle term? Okay, so same thing, but now if I look in front of my a value, it's 4, right? In my first example, it was 1. Now it's 4. Okay, so we do the same thing. So let's switch colors, and we're gonna rewrite it with a middle term. So I'm gonna say 4x squared plus 0x minus 25. Okay, so the same thing. We just plugged in a 0x and now it looks like a normal trinomial like we've been working with. So I draw my x, boom, boom, okay? And then on the top, a times c. So now my a is 4, my c is negative 25. 4 times negative 25 is negative 100, okay? And my b value, the one in the middle, is now still 0, right? Because I didn't have one, okay? So when I type in my two equations, I'm sorry, right here. So my y1, remember it's a times c over x, so negative 100 over x. My y2 is negative 100 over x plus x, okay? And that's gonna tell me what my answers are here. But remember, since I have an a value now, or since my a value is greater than 1, we have to put the a on the bottom because we're gonna have a little fraction. Okay, so now we have our equations. We go back to the calculator. So let's go back to y equals, right? Delete that, delete that. Okay, so now I'm gonna type this one again. So I click alpha, y equals, get my fraction. Negative 100 over x. There's my first one. Go to my second one, alpha y equals, get my other fraction. Negative 100 over x plus x, okay? And then we wanna see the table. So I click second graph, there's my table, okay? Now I'm looking for my b value. So again, I'm looking for 0. So I go to my third column, the y2, and I'm looking for 0. There it is, right? So that means my what's gonna go on top of those fractions are negative 10 and 10. So let's go back. Okay, so here we have negative 10 and 10. Okay, and so I have negative 10 over 4 and 10 over 4. Okay, so I'm gonna write that over here. So my two factors, if I just put them in normally, we would think it would be x. Then when I reduce those, negative 10 over 4 would reduce to negative 5 over 2, and you can use the calculator. So we would think if we were just writing these like normal, it'd be x minus 5 over 2. Okay, there's one factor. My other factor, positive 10 over 4, we can reduce that to 5 over 2, right? Positive. So my other factor would be x plus 5 over 2, okay? But remember, we don't want to write factors like this. We don't want to write them with fractions. So what we have to do is we have to take this denominator, the 2, right? And we bring them in front of the x, okay? So my real factors, my real final answers are going to be 2x minus 5. Okay, and then again, 2, and then my other factor would be 2x plus 5. And there's my answers. Okay, there's a second example. That's the second type, okay? So that's the second type of special case. The third type of special case, because we're gonna skip this example up here because I don't have a lot of room, is this one right here. Okay, so now it says, what if there are two identical terms? Okay, so that might not make sense right now, but it will in a little bit. So the first equation is x squared minus 8x plus 16. Okay, so in this one, I'm not missing a term, right? So we can just go about this. Oh, there we go. We can just go about this like normal. Okay, where we can just start with our x. So let me do it over here. So I draw my x. Okay, what goes on the top? A times c. So 1 times 16 gives me 16. My b value, what's in the middle? Negative 8. Okay, so then we make our equations. So my y1 is going to be remember, a times c over x. So 16 over x. My y2 is going to be the same thing. So 16 over x plus x. Okay. And then we just type those in. So I go back to my calculator, right? Delete that, delete that. I go up, alpha y equals, get my fraction. I want 16 over x. Go to my second one, alpha y equals, get my fraction, 16 over x. And then this time slide over, plus x, okay? And I go to my table. So now what I'm looking for is -8, okay? So I go to my third column. I'm gonna scroll, 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 scroll. I don't see -8, right? I'm getting to like bigger numbers. So let's scroll back. So again, still looking in the third column for that -8. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. And there it is, right? There's -8. So my two answers are -4 and -4. So let's go back to the paper. So we'll have -4 here, -4 here, okay? So now look, this is where it comes in. Now I have two identical terms. So let's write my factors. So I have x minus 4, since that's a negative, right? And x minus 4. So I'm going to write it twice, okay? Now, when you have like a test or something, like this is right? These are your two factors. But when you take this on a test, you're not going to see it written like this, okay? How you're going to see it written is you're going to see x minus 4. So I'm going to write it one time. And then they're just going to square it. Okay, that means you have it, that same factor twice. Okay, x minus 4 squared. Okay, that's all you do. The steps are exactly the same. It's just when you're writing your final answer, you want to put that square. Okay. But yeah, so that's how you do these special cases with the calculator. Okay, if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask your teacher. But y'all have a great day.